What is happening, everybody? I hope you're all having a wonderful day, and welcome back to Dragon Age 2. So, last episode we took care of pretty much everything we have left to do in the city. I'll pull up the map here and show you guys. So we took care of everything in the daytime circle and everything in the nighttime circle, and we did go all the way around and hit up all the different markets and merchants here. So we know we're actually done with it all. It is finally time, since we took care of all of that, to head into Sundermount and the Free Marches. So, what to do first? As you can see, there is quite a lot here. This is Wilmot's Camp, that's for enemies among us. Abandoned Ruins is for the Magistrate. The Wounded Coast is for the stuff for Sebastian. Sundermount Ambush Site is the way it should be, that's Avaline's quest. And then up here is Sundermount proper, where we have a lot of things to explore. We even have some open world side quests there, as you can see, so we won't be heading there just yet though. So I think we will start with... Why don't we start with Wilmot's Camp? We already heard that Cullen is down here, and I'm quite curious to see what Cullen's getting up to since Dragon Age Origins. There's this whole debacle inside the circle. He had a rough go of it inside Ferelden's circle. Saw a lot of his friends dead. A lot of his commanding officers and even his chargers too, the mages in his care. Saw a lot of them dead and tortured and turned to abominations too. I think of everybody here, companion-wise, and everybody we've seen, I think he has the most cause to be suspicious and weary of mages. And I actually really like the way Sundermount looks here. This vibe reminds me so bad of the first Dark Souls game. This gives me Undead Burg vibes really bad. That kind of grey, overcast aesthetic with everything overrun and dilapidated. I like this a lot. I really like the vibe they made here. It definitely reminds me of Dark Souls. See, there's Cullen, but before we go see what's going on with that, we're going to make sure we do our due diligence, be very thorough. It's Templar recruit Wilmot. It's the two of them, huh?
Andraste be my witness, Wilmot. I will have the truth from you now!
Mercy, sir. Mercy.
Were it that easy?
Don't hit me.
I will know where you're going, and I will know now!
Don't you lay another hand on that boy.
It's the Knight-Captain. Don't.
This is Templar business, stranger.
You have struck me the last time, you pathetic human. To me!
That's not a Templar anymore.
Maker preserve us.
This demon has some juice. He can summon all that up. Alright, you're already fatiguing fog. That's good. We don't have Anders for the paralyze anymore. Oh, okay. We did buff her taunt, so that should be good. You are going to haste. And I'm going to start swinging on Wilmot over here. Beautiful. That's a problem. Oh shit.
I knew he was involved in something sinister. But this... is it even possible?
Do you think he was possessed?
Normally, we only worry that mages will fall victim to possession. I have heard of blood mages or demons in solid form who could summon others into unwilling hosts.
So there's obviously a blood mage conspiracy going on here.
Would be susceptible.
Well, he's a recruit, right? He hasn't built up all his mental fortitude, completed his training yet, so I'm sure that's why he's susceptible, where he otherwise wouldn't be. You know, Cullen seems very calm and not full of PTSD right here. He looks like he's gotten over what he went through quite well.
You shouldn't have been out here alone with him.
I am Knight-Captain Cullen. I thank you for your assistance. I've been conducting an investigation of some of our recruits who have gone missing. Wilmod was the first to return. I had hoped to confront him quietly, out of sight.
Yeah, you seem very stable right now.
If you didn't know he was possessed, why draw your sword on a recruit?
He'd only been back a few days when he left again secretly. It set off some warning bells. I meant to scare him into a confession. He had to believe my threats were genuine.
I believe that. For everything I know about Cullen, he's not the kind to just start slaying his own.
The recruits believed that Meredith was conducting some sort of deadly ritual.
What? That's preposterous. Recruits can be worse than a weaving circle with their rumors. There is a vigil before Templars take their arms, but the gravest danger they face is falling asleep.
Yeah, I didn't suspect there was much to do with that. Meredith wouldn't still be in charge of the Templars if she was killing her own recruits like that.
Do you know what happened to Wilmod while he was gone?
Obviously more than I had anticipated. Wilmod has never been fully convinced of the Order's rules. Mages cannot be our friends. They must always be watched. I thought Wilmod might be meeting with some old friends who'd escaped the Circle.
Cullen has a very interesting perspective on that because he also went against his oath. If you play Dragon Age Origins as a mage, particularly a female mage, then he's actually in love. He has a giant crush on your mage. And if it's a dude, then they're just friends. But he actually has a giant crush on a mage and fantasizes about them, so he would know better than any not to be emotionally invested in all that.
I've got friends who are mages. Are you saying they need to always be watched as well?
I was at the Circle Tower in Ferelden during the Blight. I saw firsthand how Templars' trust and leniency can be rewarded. I still have nightmares of Uldred's depravities.
Which is very understandable, and I think you're dealing with all that quite well, actually. Like, how long was he being tortured for inside the cage before we managed to fight our way up to the top of the tower?
I was trying to find another recruit, a friend of Wilmod's. Do you know where Karen is?
He also disappeared. They were last seen together at the Blooming Rose. But I had no luck interrogating the, young ladies there. I doubt they know anything of magic or demons.
You can call them what they are, Cullen.
I'll speak with them. You never know how much you can learn from pillow talk.
The Order would truly be in your debt if you helped us with this. No one at the brothel will speak with me for fear I would shut them down for serving our recruits. If you learn what manner of creature did this to Wilmod, please come tell me in the gallows. I will ensure you are rewarded.
Sign me up. He had me at Blood Mages, to be honest. Even if it wasn't for the Templars, I'd do it for somebody else. Doesn't really have impact. Now, you might notice we have a slight change in appearance and equipment on not just me, but also on Isabella and Avaline. I did go through the rest of the expansion pack weapons, and I just sold what wasn't important, equipped what was. So that's all squared away and off my screen now. So before we head into the abandoned ruins, let's go to the Wounded Coast. We have people to take care of here. And besides, I would just like to get Sundermount crossed off before we start dipping in and out. It's really the only place we haven't fully explored yet.
What about Wesley? Did he?
Isabella.
What? Too soon?
Too soon, too personal, too... everything coming from you.
Oh, sore spot.
If you don't shut up, I'll give you a sore spot.
They don't get on the best, these two. They'll butt heads a little. In fact, there's one scene where she straight up calls her a whore, and it always... it's quite amusing to me. Here's our first taste of Canary. Interestingly enough, they're actually Tal Bashar, but they've abandoned the Qun. traitors to the cause. Yeah, that means, I guess when they crash landed here in Kirkwall, these particular ones decided, since they're stranded here, to just abandon ship. Set out in the wilds. In Tal-Vashath, of course, are executed on sight if they run into actual Qunari. They're considered soulless. Dalish assassin.
Do you even know her name, Shem? No? It's Delilah. She's dead.
I know Delilah.
You killed her.
Delilah is the elven woman who turned into a werewolf. We killed her as the warden because she wanted to die, and we gave the scarf back to the father. How do you know Delilah?
I was a beast then.
Are you from the Brecillian forest?
I did many terrible things. I'm sorry.
Sorry does not bring my mother back.
I was a victim too, Elf. Of Zathrian's vengeance. Stranger, please calm her down.
Did I hear you right? You're a werewolf?
I was one, but no longer. Her Dalish keeper cursed some humans with lycanthropy long ago. The disease spread over the years, but the hero of Ferelden freed us.
Let's not do this. Oh. I would prefer not to have to kill Delilah's daughter here.
Is this what your mother would want?
But he murdered her.
This man may have a wife, children, certainly a family. What will they think of you? Kill him, and you become him.
You shame me. My mother would not want this.
Yeah, go back.
Leave, Shem.
Go home.
Before I change my mind.
And actually, I don't necessarily agree with what Hawk said there in terms of reasoning, but I'll tell you why I think that's the right decision is... How the hell does she know that that's the specific werewolf that caused those problems? How would she have any idea of that? There was hundreds of werewolves in the Brecillian forest. There's no way she could know which one did it. It's not possible for her to know that. And so she's just crap shooting. She found somebody who used to be a werewolf, and she decided that it's time for them to die. Well, I'm not a fan of that, and the reason I'm not a fan of that is... A lot of those werewolves in the Brecillian forest, they weren't even made werewolves because they were the original people that committed the sin that Zathrian wanted vengeance for. A lot of those werewolves were infected by the original wolves that were cursed. So there was a bunch of random people catching strays in those woods. Shit, there was even Dalish werewolves in those woods that caught strays from Zathrian's bullshit. So it's impossible for her to even know if she has the right man. He might not even be from the original descendancy. He could just be some villager who caught a stray. And she just wants to freely execute them. I'm not comfortable with that. If you don't know for sure, you don't know, and you can't start chopping heads. My take, at least. I don't think you should just start throwing hands and slicing people's faces off on whims because you think you have it right. You either know or you don't know. And if you don't know, then we're not doing this. But maybe. Goodbye. Again, for anybody talking about apostate mages and how they're all nice and friendly, you'll note that those two apostates we just ran into out here just attacked me on sight before I even really knew where they were or who they were. So they're clearly not interested in inviting me to dinner, were they? And I'm not a Templar, and no one here is dressed as a Templar, so what reason would they have to do that? Other than the fact that they're bloodthirsty? They would have zero reason to do that. They just want bloodshed. Suppose they got it in the end. Was Mobari? took care of most of that. Aveline is back here getting her shit rocked. Avaline. I respect the hell out of you for jumping up there by yourself, but can we please? Better now, Avaline. You did not need to run on up there and try and 1v 600 the spooters. Did you catch a death? I did not see her go down. Yeah. Wrapping up on the backside of this. I think once we finished looking through Sundermount, we're about all squared up on all of the, almost all the locations we'll be seeing out here.
You happy now?
I am, because that means I've got your cunning up enough to where you don't fail my checks anymore. I guess standard chests did need 20. I don't think we run into any advanced chests beyond standard until Act 2, so as long as we keep spicing her cunning up, we should never run into a problem though. That is elf root. Again, important to make sure we keep snagging every single one of those ingredients up. Now, aside to all this, I actually had a really good day today. I just came right off the back of a workout. I still have my dog, I do. Yeah, I just came right on the back of a workout, and that went really well. My back injury is not hindering my workouts at all anymore, so that's fucking beautiful. I've been rewatching The Last of Us Part 1 to the season. The series actually comes out in like 3 days, I think, so I've been rewatching that and playing through the second game in preparation for that, because I would like to be all caught up and squared away on that before we get to watch it. When I played Last of Us Part 1, I did that alongside the TV show too, and it was really cool to see which did which better alongside each other. It's very interesting. It made the whole thing way more fun to watch and play. So I'm hoping that Season 2 will actually fix some of the issues that have been involved in the game, because my god, some of the writing in the game is bad. There are certain scenes and aspects of The Last of Us Part 2 that just make zero sense. I've been going on many a tangent about that in my Let's Play series for it. Which is one of the reasons why I wanted to play this, because over the last, I think, like a month, I played some games that I was not too fond of. Like, there's been Dragon Age the Veilguard, there's been The Last of Us Part 2, there's been Assassin's Creed Shadows. There's been a lot of games that have disappointed me. So it's actually really refreshing to come here and play this, because I adore this game. This game feels like home to me to a certain degree. And it holds up phenomenally in comparison to things like Dragon Age the Veilguard. The franchise killer that it is. Unfortunately, I genuinely believe that I'm never going to make another one of these Dragon Age games. I think we're done now, unfortunately. I don't think they'll make them like this ever again. And honestly, the new Mass Effect game, if they don't watch their shit when they make that, they basically need a banger. And if they don't get a banger, that game is going to be a mess. And the studio might be actually scuffed. It would be hard for EA to close down BioWare because they're sister companies. So they technically are the same company. It's a little like Activision and Blizzard. Like they're the same thing now, but it is very possible that we could see BioWare just not making video games anymore if they don't do well with the new Mass Effect game. Which I hope does not come to fruition, because I like BioWare as a company, or I used to. Like, the BioWare that made the original Mass Effect trilogy and the first 2 Dragon Age games, they're one of my favorite companies of all time in terms of game developers. It's like BioWare, Bungie, the original CD Projekt Red before the layoffs and the bleeding of talent. Those are all my favorite development companies. And I would hate... Okay, this is the asshole, by the way. This Cerebus. He's the asshole. So, all hands on deck for him, essentially, is what I'm trying to tell you. Just hit him with the good shit. Just like that. And we keep hitting him with the good shit. Because he sucks. Yeah, there we go. You see how much damage the line-in shit that he threw at us one time did. That was almost 2 of our companions instantly dead. You do not want to play games with Cerebus. Expansion pack of gear or not, they will ruin your life. I mean, shit, he almost one-shot 2 of my companions, and they're all juiced up. Actually, well, there are 2 encounters in this game that I really don't like much. One of them is the Cerebus in the caves, out here in the Wounded Coast, and the other is the boss fight for the Arashock, if you earn his respect, which we will be doing, by the way. So if you're curious how to earn his respect and get that achievement if you still need it, I'll be showing you all how to do that in this playthrough. Because the Arashock is actually my favorite villain in Dragon Age history. In fact, my old gamertag username used to be Arashock, so that's how much I like that character and how much I appreciate this game for what it is. So we'll definitely be paying a lot of time and respect to the Arashock and his cutscenes. Every time I talk to him, I find myself lingering on his words, kind of like dead silent, just listening. The voice actor did a really good job with him, and he has this like presence to him that just demands respect. It's very cool. The Arashock is the embodiment of the Qun to an extreme degree, and he really nails it. Knock him back into his friends so we can get both.
I'll make you cry for your mother.
If we kill them, we get their stuff. Still a pirate at heart, eh, Isabella? Alright, so we have this slip road to take up there, but not here. We usually get a fair warning from one of our Canary friends up here, but I guess we're not. Unless he gets us on this little slip path. Let's see. Yeah, we usually get fair warning here from one of the Canary. Yeah, it is. Alright. We'll use Scythe. You're gonna use Fatiguing Fog. I'm gonna hit him with that fireball across the whole map. I'm gonna use Cleave. He'll bash that. Tough son of a bitch, isn't he? There we go.
Finish this!
And you see, we ran way out of stamina there towards the end of that. We had nothing. Elvishoth Officer. I guess even when you rebel from the code, you still need a leader, right? Maybe he was one of the ones that encouraged the rest of them.
Your son, slave driver.
Thank you, Isabella. Yeah, maybe he's one of the ones that caused this. I imagine when a big rebellion like that happens, it's usually a catalyst, right? Somebody in charge that you respect has the idea, takes it to other people, ends up snowballing like that. I think that's usually how things like that work. And unlike in Dragon Age the Veilguard, the reason the Qunari have for abandoning their post, so to speak, here as a Tal Vashoth, the ones that did at least, it actually makes sense, and we'll get to that as we start exploring through Kirkwall's story in Act 2. You'll start to see why everything going on in here is going on, and then it all kind of culminates in Act 3, which is really cool, because Act 1 is like the introductory phase. It's going to show you everything that's going on, all the little side hustles, everything that you need to know about all the cast and crew. And then Act 2 is where everything bubbles up to a boiling point, basically. That's where everything really starts intertwining and cause and effect and all that good stuff. And then in Act 3, that's when it all culminates in the big shit show that it all creates. And it all makes sense in a very good way. So we're doing pretty good out here. Let's do Avaline's ambush quest. We had this forever ago. We just haven't done what we were supposed to be doing.
The main group. Nothing we can't handle.
I would agree with that, Avaline. Shit, if we made it through the Darkspawn, what's a handful of bandits, right? I'm gonna walk Isabella first, though, just in case there's something cheeky going on here. I don't like the way you're just standing there. Look like you're baiting me. Double stun. Oh, these are your friends, Isabella. These are raiders. Yeah, that's your old homies. You probably knew those guys, huh? Before we head straight for the people we gotta smoke, let's take a big old swing around. Yeah, I know a lot of people, they have a really hard time getting past the kind of samey nature of all these areas, but I don't know what it is, whether it's just bias or some other thing, but I really don't get bothered by all that. Like, consider, do you think that so far, granted we haven't been in the game that long, but do you think so far we've had so much of the same areas that the game just feels like it's on repeat? Because shit, there's what, like 4 main hubs we found so far. There's Lowtown, Docktown, Hightown, and then Sundermount, the Wounded Coast. And then its own individual little areas inside those areas. For a little self-contained story, which is what this is. It's like a direct sequel to Origins and what would have happened during certain moments and certain characters. Like, for its own little story about a city. I think there's plenty of variation here, because, again, the whole game takes place in one city. It's Kirkwall and the surrounding areas of said city. So it's not like you have 19 things to show and explore. It was never meant to be that. And granted, they did only make this game in a year. So I'm sure if they had had more time, they would have had more locations and done more things, right? Like, I'm sure that's the case.
It's done. You're such a...
When did you... I don't think you went down during that fight, did you, Beth? Hello? Take the injury kit. Yeah, I don't think, they did too bad here. Now, obviously, they would have had more cities, more things to do if they had more time, but I think Dragon Age 2's story was probably always in production, even during Origins, because they had a lot of faith in that product, so I'm pretty sure that they planned to do a sequel. I just don't think they planned to do it so damn fast. But there's a reason why there's so many stories written into the Dragon Age universe, and that's because the creator wanted to make sure that there was plenty of isolated stories to tell off to the side if there ever needed to be. And I'm sure all this stuff with Kirkwall and the Canary was always going to be there at some point. Maybe not so soon, but there was never supposed to be any direct sequel to Origins. That's why at the end of Origins, you have those ending cards that tie everything up in a neat bow. And then even at the end of Awakening, you have those ending cards that again tie everything up in a neat bow. I mean, shit, at the end of the Witch Hunt DLC, your character literally goes off into the abyss with a happy ever after with a family. Like, they had no intention at all of ever having you revisit that stuff. So, I think, in the end, this little self-contained story is probably the most we could have ever expected from them. I don't think we were ever going to get this big, grand, spiritual successor to Dragon Age Origins, where it's the same scale, it's the same basis, it's the same warden, it's the same this and that. I don't think that was ever a possibility, because they tied everything off in Origins perfectly. So we were always going to move on to a different stage of the universe, right? At least that's the way that I see it. What do we have? Excuse me. Destroyer, Assail, Muscle. Need 4 points here. Control. This gives me 10% crit chance while control is up. I actually quite like the idea of enhanced crit chance. The warrior is now an elite combatant, so experienced in battle that enemies suffer more pain when fighting the warrior than they would when fighting anyone else. Enemy damage resistance, 90% versus warriors' basic attacks. Enemy damage resistance, 50% versus warriors' critical hits. Or we can get 10% crit chance when we have control active, which is all the time. The crit chance. I will do more into Revo eventually, but I need to get the Vanguard tree up to where it's gonna be, so that we have everything we'll ever need from that, and then we can just start chunking up on the Revo tree. And then once all of that is taken care of, we'll probably be in a position where we end up saving a bunch of our points, so that we have a bunch left over for when we dip into the final tree, which will be Berserker. The three main stats we care about with this build is going to be Vanguard, Berserker, and Reaver. Usually, it's way more optimal to get the Berserker tree first, but I just felt like having Reaver.
We're close to the ambush hawk. Be ready.
Yes, ma'am. I didn't feel like we were needing more oomph on our basic attacks, and we really don't have that much stamina right now. I mean, I'm running out just doing my activated attacks, so I didn't want to go hard. I see you. Trying to get sneaky with that shit. Breathe. You can activate haste when the friends spawn up. Good now. There you go.
Well equipped for bandits, but dead is dead and the road is clear.
Dead is dead.
Captain Jevon needs to know of this. Back to the barracks for your just reward.
We'll see if your captain sees that the same way.
It's done.
This is not official guard duty, keep in mind. Well, it is for her, but not for me. I'm not inside the house. I'm on the outside looking in, so she hired externally. And the captain might also feel like she's stepping on his toes, given that she took it out of his wheelhouse and command and went way outside the chain of command and basically hired a mercenary to take care of it with her. I don't know how he will take that. Right, let's go 1-1-1. Alright, Avaline. You have your guardian thing now, so retaliation. For a short time, melee strikes against Avaline are met with an instant counterattack. Immovable. While this mode is active, Avaline sacrifices movement and attack speed for resilience to incoming blows. We don't need that yet, I don't think. Bravado could be cool. That increases the shit out of her threat generation. That's 50% per nearby enemy after the first, so that just goes hard. This is also sustained, which tanks end up doing a lot. When you build a tank, you're basically just gonna have them sitting there. Requires scatter. While the shield is equipped, the warrior shrugs off the extra damage from critical hits. That's beautiful. So we'll get scatter for now. Go to fine. I completely forgot what I was just saying about Avaline, by the way. It's definitely time for me to go to bed after this episode. Because I couldn't tell you what I was just talking about, even if I tried. X of Torment, Horror, Stun Chance 100% versus any enemy, which is very cool. Any enemy, including boss, by the way. Firestorm might be a little hectic, I think, so it might be a little much. Elemental weapons would be cool. Be a nice buff for everybody. Yeah, let's get elemental weapons. Let's get the blender up and running a little harder. So we have been going for 36 minutes. I think I was talking about Avaline face tank and everything, but I really have no recollection at all. I'm sorry about that. Whatever point I was about to make there is just gone to the wind. Okay, so we have that. That. I really don't want to go back until we've wrapped this up. Oh shit. 37 minutes too, so we've been going for a while. Here, how about... How about we go to Sundermount? And let's take a look at what we actually have to do here. So, that's duty. And that's to keep him at Athari. We're only coming here for duty. We're not gonna explore this really, really hard. We're just coming here to kill these bandits right off rip. Fun fact, but he actually says now you fall, but way back in the day, I thought he said down you haul. When I was a kid, I was convinced that he said down you haul. And that is in fact not what he says. He says now you fall. Alright. And that's the Flint Mercenary Company. And again, before we progress and go deep into the Dalish camp, that's not what we're here for right now. We're just here to get Sebastian's thing taken care of. We will slide out the back nice and fast now. We do need to be here eventually. I just don't want to do it just yet, because it can be a little chunky. So we want to come there and do it a little bit later. Alright. Now we have Red Blossom Special. Duty is for him, and the way it should be would be the Viscount's Keep. That's Avaline's thing. Then here is Enemies Among Us. That's for the Templars that are kind of getting pieced up. So, why don't we... Let's head down to Darktown. We'll take care of the Red Blossom Special, and then we'll wrap the episode. And then next time, we'll deal with Avaline's Guard Captain and the rest of the stuff we have to do inside Kirkwall.
That's right, big girl. What of it? I don't remember your name on any registries. Every ship that docks has to declare. I never docked.
This is
You're
yours.
no port authority. And you
I
are no
can't
merchant.
accurately express my gratitude.
Ooh, scrutiny.
Ooh, scrutiny. I like Isabella. It's really funny if you get the right pairings of companions as you walk around the open world in this game. Get ready to have a lot of fun. It's like Origins almost in quality, where they'll just yap and talk to each other. They say the funniest shit sometimes. Alright, so we will end things off in good old Uncle Gamlen's house, and then I'll wrap it up. So thank you for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, leave a like and a comment. If you want to support the cause and help improve the channel, you enjoy what I do here, please do check out my link on Patreon in the description below. Otherwise, stay tuned, and I'll see you soon with more Dragon Age 2. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. Ciao.